The new QX60 is here. 4 trims to choose from, including a new sport trim. And we have new color options, plus we have updated technology. We're showcasing the 2026 Infiniti QX60 Luxe and graphite shadow over graphite interior. Infiniti of Tampa has given us this vehicle to show you the full specs on the exterior, the interior, and of course we're gonna take this for a test drive. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm gonna throw in some pros and cons, and I'm gonna give you some reasons why you may wanna consider the new QX60, starting with the upgraded grille. This is going to be wider, longer. The Pure will start off with the black and matte chrome. The Luxe, which is what we're showcasing, has the black and the matte chrome surrounding as well. It will change it when you go into the Sport because you'll get the black with the dark chrome surrounding, and going into the Autograph will have the same thing with 6.7 inches of clearance. And this is basically the big deal for the 2026 is this whole front fascia. The front bumper has been redesigned as well. Front and rear parking sensors, this is going to start on the Pure trim. This area here has been updated also. So I like it. They still keep the same thing here. If you remember, the 2025 have it bulging out here. So I like that it's a little bit more minimal, and they keep this horizontal style, which they carry on through the side, so it makes it look visually longer. Standard LED headlights and daytime runnings. This has been reworked. You now have the piano keys that go into the QX80 grille. The QX65 is still set to come out, which will be a sportier variant than this. It's going to be a 2-row, and there is some talks about having the same VC-Turbocharged engine or the V6 engine that we lost after 2024. And now with all these updates, what's underneath the hood? It's a carryover 2.0 liter VC-Turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's a unique engine, which I'll explain. 268 horsepower. 286 pound-feet of torque paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and this is going to be the only powertrain that you can option on the QX60. So when I was talking about the QX65, it would be nice if they threw in that V6 that we lost back in 2024 was the last year we had it, because it just had a little bit more power. And I personally own a 2025 variant, so I know how the drive is to the vehicle, especially when you're going in and out of parking lots and around, I would say 8 to 10 miles per hour, you will feel a little bit more jerks in this. And that's because of the design of the VC turbocharged engine. It's a variable compression engine, which has an extra pulley that will regulate the way the fuel is. You're getting 22 to 28 mpgs. So you're getting pretty decent, and you only lose maybe 2 mpgs for the highway when you're comparing this to the V6 that it replaces. Now what it does is it regulates it to a 4-cylinder diesel engine for the fuel economy. And when you mash on the gas, it changes the compression ratio like a V6 naturally aspirated engine. Now, the problem that comes into play with this, for those that own that VC turbocharged engine, like me, is when you're at a lower speed, you feel more of the jerks, plus you're going to be hitting more of a 3 to 3.5 RPM to get the vehicle motivated, and it's going to be a little bit slower than the V6 that we lost. So really, is 2 mpgs going to make a difference? Standard now is 20-inch wheels across the board. They will change according to trim, but no more 18-inch. So even if you go into the Pure, you're going to get these upgraded wheels. You'll have the chrome that's going to surround the lower with the Infiniti print. This is going to basically be identical to the 2025. And the same thing with these panels here, which I kind of think it would be nice if they put the glossy black that would mimic the side view mirror cap. These are power folding, heated side view mirrors, and you get the LED integrated turn signals, and you'll have more of that satin chrome that's going to come into the back. These roof rails with the crossbars, you could hold up to 165 pounds. But when you look at that sticker at the beginning, you have to pay about $445 to add it. Towing is still maxed at 6,000 pounds and 2-wheel drive configuration at 3,500 pounds. So this is still the best in class for towing capabilities. And when you're considering the MSRP, it's just under 60 grand. The increase was only about $1,000. And what you're getting for the exterior styling, I think they did a pretty decent job for this update. Now, it's not a full refresh like some people may think. So it isn't all new considering the suspension is the same. The length and the ground clearance is the same. Really, all we're changing is the aesthetics, which when we're comparing this against competition, they do the same thing. And as for Acura, for 26, there isn't any updates. 25 was the updates for the technology that gave us touchscreen configuration. They did change the front bumper and grille a little bit, and the same thing for the rear. But with Infiniti, you get a little bit more changes. And it's pretty much all in the lower bumper and the badging. You're gonna notice it's a little bit more squared off. The same thing with the Infiniti print that goes across the center, and the way the trunk actually is also. So this whole area has been updated. So again, keeping the horizontal line so it's more squared off here in the back. The rear parking sensors, the Luxe starts with the 360-degree reverse camera and these mud flaps. That's on all four corners. That is a premium. And then the lower bumpers, they'll still get these panels that kind of mimic exhaust. I wish they didn't do that, but it is different from the 25 and under because this would be a little bit more pronounced. You still have your dual exhaust that's tucked underneath, and because this is the Luxe trim, it's going to be more with the flat black on the lower trim. Spare tire is still tucked underneath. It's not going to be a full-size tire. They stopped doing that back in 2023. And you'll have a digital rear view mirror when you go into the Autograph. Now to throw in some pros and cons on the exterior. The pros, you get that more traditional luxury style. The cons, it doesn't really do anything else to the vehicle. It's all aesthetics. And going against Lexus, you're still going to have a savings here because they didn't increase the price that much more going into the 26 variant, which I appreciate that because if I am looking for an alternative, I can go this route. But if I'm not looking for a Turbo 4, I mean, you have to start going into Acura or the Germans or start spending basically 6 figures in order to get a non-Turbo 4 variant these days because all luxury and non-luxury vehicles are going this route. Sadly, we don't have a problem with emissions because they've changed the whole administration, and instead of putting back the V6, they kept the Turbo 4. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. Power liftgate, standard on all trims, going into 14.5 cubic feet of storage. You get a 12 volts, bag holders on both sides underneath the floor. You get the dividers, you get some storage, and they got this new little first aid kit. Looks kind of nice. Split fold the rear bench, pull these tabs. So when you go to the Autograph, it is power. It's gonna split at a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 41.6 cubic feet of storage. Unfortunately, for the second row to fold down to maximize cargo to 75.4 cubic feet, you have to come back here. You pull the tab, it's going to fold down at a 60-40 split to maximize the cargo capacity to the new QX60. E-fob to the new QX60, which it's the same as the 2025. You're going to have 12-way power seat adjustment. Now, one thing that Infiniti has done, and that's on both front seats, is when you do not option the Autograph, it's all tailor fit. The only way you get the leather or the semi-aniline leather is going into the Autograph. Heated ventilated seats, or it's called climate control seats, start on this trim. You have memory for the driver, you'll get it for the passenger. When you go into the Autograph, Kilpsch, 16 speakers, that's going to start here. 9 speakers goes into the Luxe, 20 speakers because they'll be premium when you go into the Autograph. The interior, it's going to be more or less a carryover except for the tech and the push button start. Let's fire it up. Now it is hot as hell in here. It is the state of Florida, probably over 100 degrees. It's registering 96 right now. So the humidity, I would say it's a lot more. The big updates is this technology because now we're getting the QX80 implemented into the 60. You want an auto dimming rear view mirror? You gotta go into the Autograph. Check this out now. This is Google Play, Google Assist, Google Maps. It's a little bit more intuitive than the prior. So if you're thinking, I wanna go QX60, maybe 25, you might wanna reconsider and go here because look at this. You can't do this on any QX60 except for this trim. Putting into reverse, you get an upgraded 360-degree reverse camera full trajectory for the front and the rear. It expands out, you get the tow line. Click here. Now you're gonna have the interior and you can see on the sides. We didn't have this for 25. You have the reverse camera, and this is gonna start on the Luxe trim. Tri-climate control settings, standard across all trims. You get the haptic, so if you listen, you'll hear it. Seamless air vents that brush into, you'll have the open wood pour when you go into the Autograph, and you'll have the pattern, whereas this you have the geometrical pattern that goes across and enters into the door card. Steering wheel. it's not leather wrapped. You have to go up the tier, multi-function. It's the same steering wheel as the prior with the paddle shifts. Please close your door. Yeah, close it. Thank you. Leg space on the passenger side. He is about 6'2", and you can see it's not a driver focus setup, but they put this little wall here. And now the gauge cluster, 12.3, the same as the infotainment screen. You can go through an array of different content for the driver, including putting the navigation. You can expand this up. Now, you were not able to put the navigation there in 25 or under, so I appreciate that you have that capability, especially when you're doing this view, because I don't really use this view that much. Also, another thing is you'll have the blind spot monitoring, but you'll also have the intervision, which means that the vehicle going around 37 miles per hour will use the inter brake on the rear wheels to steer the way to keep you straight in between the lines. So another reason why you might want to go Luxe opposed to the Pure trim. You'll have the Autopilot 1.1, and we're going to go back over here so you can see some other details of this infotainment screen. This is the more sporty side, but unfortunately it doesn't really give you a full size navigation, but I do like that it's a lot more cleaned up, because 25 and under, you really just have this sort of information, and at that point there's no reason for a digital screen. The push button start is black, same razor gear lever, driving mode select. You're gonna have a total of 4, nope, you got 5. You got towing capabilities here also. You still got the rotary knob, so you can go into the infotainment screen that way, but it's touch derived. Auto stop, auto hold, which will hold the brake whenever you're at a stoplight. After you've come to a complete stop, you don't have to hold the brake anymore with a full pass-through. This is the same. You get the same contrast stitch. Move your hands, open up. Same size storage pocket, 12-volt, card holders, pin holders, another card holder. Check out the leg space. And the headroom. Large panel moonroof that goes into the second row. If you got anything before this major update, not 26, besides 21, they used to have a panel for the third row. So that is something that they have cut. Dashboard and door panel configured together. You get a heads-up display going into the Autograph. Soft to touch materials. That's why I personally went Infiniti. One touch up and down for all the windows, a long storage pocket. It's the same as the prior. For the back seat, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the cup holders, armrest, and a pin holder here. Captain seat configuration starts now on the Sport trim. And you have your third climate control setting here. USB-C ports. Home plug is only on the Autograph. You have storage, and check this out. Now you have a connector that you can put your iPad. Manual sunshades. The door card is going to be the same as the front, except smaller storage pocket. These, you can get them to illuminate. It's going to be about $500 or so. Sitting back here, this is the leg space that you have. You can also adjust these forward. And then you'll give a lot more space for the third row occupants. Sliding it back makes it more desirable for me. Headroom, you do sit up, it's literally the same. The only difference is when you go captain seat configuration, it's a little bit more comfortable than the bench. And when you sit here, you're sitting on top of the hood, so you can see everything a little bit easier. The floor is flat. They didn't do anything to fix this little panel, which this is the big con that I have for the back seats, because it pushes you up. And by doing that, at my height, my knees end up sitting up in the air, so I'll have to share some feet space. It is a wide vehicle, but leg and shoulder space, it's not really that bad. But then headroom, I'm pretty much against the panel moonroof, and actually I'm against this part of the roof. Third row access, push the button, it's gonna slide forward. Same ordeal as the 25. You'll get a little storage here that's not gonna really hold anything. Cup holders, 1 USB-C port, air vents in the ceiling. You're not gonna get the USB-C port here. Only 5 total USB ports you get. Leg space now, it's a little bit more cramped. That's why I like the captain seat configuration. Headroom is about the same thing too. It's a little bit more tight. You can recline these back, which makes it a little bit more desirable. But because of the way the back is shaped, and they've kind of pushed it a little bit more so back here because of all the plastic aesthetics, your head's still gonna hit the headliner. 268 horsepower with this VC-Turbocharged 4-cylinder, as I explained on the exterior part of this review, with 286 pound-feet of torque. Nothing new there. Same powertrain that was implemented for 2025, which I also own a 2025. I will show you the review shortly, but I figured we have to get the new 2026 QX60 out there so you could see what you're getting, because really it's technology and aesthetics. So I do appreciate that they've implemented these things, because now you're getting a QX80 for QX60 money. And it's only $1,000 difference in price. Traffic is always a little bit crazy on this direction here, and I don't think I'm gonna go too crazy. This is a VC-Turbocharged 4-cylinder, so it's a little bit slower than the 6-cylinder engine that it replaced. And you can see what I mean. You're hitting more of that 3 RPM everywhere you go. Smooth with 20-inch wheels, and that's the only wheel design that you can get. Doesn't feel wide, doesn't feel long. The tailored fit seats, to me, is a con, because you can only get the leather wrap seats going into the Autograph now. 6-passenger configuration, you can now get that on the Sport, so you have 2 different trims to choose from. I do appreciate that. I'm gonna show you the brakes. And you can stop on a dime on this thing. We're going to throw it into sport mode, which will let us hit a higher RPM. That's really the only reason why you do that. And also for this variable compression engine, it actually helps with the regulation. So that way you're not pushing it to go to that RPM. It actually stays at that RPM. So I would recommend using the Sport a little bit more so, because it does help a little bit with MPGs. I mean, you might get one more MPG. Turn radius at a stop point is gonna get about 2 lanes. This guy had to get in front of me. Let's rock and roll. So if you do mash on the gas on a Sport or mash on the brakes, it's fine. You're not gonna feel uncomfortable. It can get the job done, and that's where I'm going with this VC-Turbocharged 4. It's gonna take me into some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is the updates, like we said, on the exterior. I really like this infotainment screen. I do like that we get navigation here, because this was not the case last year, nor this pinch. This is just awesome. The haptic feel, that's standard, that's been around for a while now. Standard wireless charging. The Luxe in the Sport trim, I will say, is kind of the sweet spot, but realistically speaking, if you want all the bells and whistles, you have to go up to the Autograph, especially if you want the leather seats. Heated, ventilated front seats, I like that, and 2nd-row seats. They're not really skimping with chargers either, because you have plenty of charging capacity through the interior of the cabin. They didn't do any increase for headroom or legroom in any of the rows. And if you're thinking, well, they went from 18-inch to 20-inch, that's gonna change my idea of buying a QX60. It's not really that much of a difference in drive. The suspension itself is pretty smooth. Comparing it against Acura, this is gonna be a little bit more smooth. The seats are a little bit more comfortable. You just have a little bit more width in the interior, whereas when you go into Lexus, you're gonna have a lot of plastic aesthetics through the interior. So that's one thing that I always dislike, but that's gonna be the more butter smooth drive. If you are cross shopping like I was to the Germans, BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. Mercedes is gonna be the most expensive variant for 3rd row. Audi is gonna be a little bit less, but it's gonna be a little bit longer, and you're not gonna have as much interior space for the 3rd row. And with the towing at 6,000 pounds and the savings of at least $10,000 to $15,000, you can go to the Autograph. You will hear the engine coming in, but the sound deadening is good. So not a lot of exterior noise comes into the vehicle. And comparing this against BMW, you're gonna get more performance. It's gonna be a little bit more harder aesthetics, kind of more so towards the sporty side, which I'm fine with that. But if you're looking for more of that plush luxury feel, you wanna go this route. Lexus is good, but I just feel that the plastic in the interior kind of offsets it a little bit more so than it should. I mean, what's your thoughts, Issa?
Yeah.
What do you think about the new 26 model?
I mean, I like the car. I don't see anything like major that happened with it though. it must suck for the people that did buy it, the previous variant from the year prior.
Well, that's us too. We bought a 25 variant, which sadly I would have liked this to be in the 25, but I'm afraid these updates are just not enough for me to go from a 25 to a 26. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.